There's no YouTube. yum diddy I, 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 yum diddy I. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem LeShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Malkei Hamlakim, Dosh Baruch Hu, Yadadai, Dai, 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 Yadadai, Dai, 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 Yadadai, Dai, Dai, Yadadai, Dai, Dai, Yadadai, Dai, Yadadai, Dai, Yadadai, Dai, 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 Baruch Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedkem LeShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ya la la.
So we welcome Shabbos. We welcome Shabbos like a bride, the mystics tell us. They imagine this as a cosmic wedding for a moment, where as Rabbi Jim says, and I love how he says this, the terrible twos of creation merge back into a oneness. And so we do. We take this moment as the mystics of Tzfat, people who were refugees, who were the children of refugees, who were the children of refugees. They would go out just as the sun was setting. They would greet Shabbos like a wedding. They would dress all in white. And they would sing this psalm, this song that they wrote, the Chadodi, to welcome Shabbos. And in fact, the author of this poem, Shlomo Halevi, made sure that everyone would remember his name, because he went and he put with the first verse of each of these, he put at the beginning of each verse, he put the initials of his name, so it's spelled out Shlomo Halevi. But if you look here, you will notice that, in fact, we only do some of the verses, which means instead of Shlomo Halevi, we have Shlub. So all of us, whether we come here ready for a wedding or if we come here as Shlubs, we take a moment to let go, to welcome Shabbos, the Chadodi on page 8. מכרם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה הולך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבה מקבלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבה כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה נשבה נקבלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבה נקבלה. We turn towards the entrance as we greet Shabbos like a bride. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבה נקבלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבה נקבלה. Turn to page 10 as we call each other to prayer, as we call each other to lives of goodness and holiness and meaning with the words of Baruch Hu. את אדוני המבורך. Baruch Adonai המבורך לעולם ועד. Be seated. Oh, I always forget to light the Shabbos candles, or I forget to do the wine, the Kiddush at the end. Yeah, or maybe both. Sometimes I forget also. It's really... We turn to page 12 as we back away. We take a moment to back away from our lives, from our world. We have these two mindsets we're supposed to bring into the Shema. We've been studying the Shema in our Tuesday Translating the Siddur class. But we have these mindsets before the Shema, and the first of these is Ma'ariv Aravim, which calls us to take a cosmic view of our lives and a cosmic view of our world. I know I've talked about this before, but I've suffered, thankfully not for a while, but from panic disorder. And for those who have had a panic attack before, I mean, they're awful, right? But it is this sense of the smallest things becoming too heavy to carry. But the smallest things just become so overwhelming. I think of Ma'ariv Aravim as the antidote to this. It's a view that zooms out on our lives and zooms out on our world and zooms out from our solar system until we see that we are nothing but stardust, and our whole world and everyone who is in it and everyone who has lived or will live is like a blink. I think Nancy mentioned at the end of her really moving eulogy for her mom this week, this saying that every 100 years, it's a whole new group of people. Everyone you've ever known. And this is Ma'ariv Aravim. It is backing away. It is getting to a place where we are so small that it's not just that the small things no longer feel big, but that the big things can begin to feel small. So I invite us all to exhale, to let go of whatever we've been holding on to. Those breathing exercises that help me with panic disorder, and the lesson, it's a truism of breathing exercises, but I think it's a truism beyond that too, that before you can take a new breath, you have to let go of the one you are holding on to. Page 12.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim ma'ariv aravim amen ma'ariv aravim amen ma'ariv aravim amen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim בחוכמה פותח שערים ובדוד נמשך לעיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסתיר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע קיצונו כל יום ולילה גולה ומפני חושך וחושק מפני אור ומעביר בין יום ולילה ומבדיל בין יום ולילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וחיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב על אביב אמן אביב על אביב אמן מעריב על אביב אמן מעריב על אביב אמן.
So we don't stay at smallness. We have these two perspectives we hold on to before we say Shema. First is this radical smallness, and the second is this radical connection. This word we call ahava in Hebrew, which you may know from the beauty products if you've had the Dead Sea Scroll, or not Dead Sea Scroll, excuse me, the Dead Sea mud masks, which is draining the Dead Sea, by the way. We have this word ahava, which we translate as love, but really means connection. It really means obligation. The ways we are obligated to each other in this moment, the ways we are obligated to the past, to the future. Maimonides talks about the first of these prayers. The smallness one is looking up into the sky and seeing the stars and realizing how impermanent we are. And I like to think that this second mindset, Ahavat Olam, is looking up and somehow seeing constellations from those stars, seeing the connections, and understanding ourselves as that connective tissue of the universe, here to support each other, here to build the world that the next generation deserves. So we open up our hearts to the possibility of this, the possibility of being connected, being loved. Page 14.
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that beat us, even when we are too weak for meeting. Oh, we are loved, we are loved, we are loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, we are loved, we are loved by unending love and unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, we are loved, we are loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, we are loved, we are loved, we are loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
Take a moment to hold on to these two twins, these two polar opposite twins. I have twins, so it's how I think of twins, as being polar opposites. Lisa, who's teaching them this year, is nodding along very much so. We hold on to this radical smallness and this radical connectedness as we close our eyes, as we somehow shut off our sight and yet open ourselves up even more to those around us. Page 15, if it's your custom to rise or be seated or whatever your custom is, we invite you to do so. The Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai
Be seated. If you've been to our house, and particularly if you've been in our kitchen, you may have noticed that we have these signs. They're somewhat hidden. They're designed so that only I see them, ideally, that describe how to clean the kitchen. Step by step. No, it's been very helpful for me. But I actually think this is the idea with V'ahavta. This is the idea with the mezuzah. This is the idea with Shabbos candles. This is the idea with Jewish ritual writ large. That if we do it right, it's supposed to be there as a reminder to ourselves to be the person we're trying to be. Right? It's so easy for those routines to not lead to the sorts of human beings that we want to be. For our lived actions not to look as much like the ideals we have about ourselves as maybe they should. And so this is the idea of V'ahavta. This is the idea of that mezuzah that we walk by, that it should be there as a reminder that this is the way we're trying to live. Page 16. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'vlechtecha v'aderech, u'shochbecha u'vkumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafo b'neinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yisharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ahani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem. Really shouldn't be in our Siddur. Prayer, according to the rabbis, is really only two things. It's the Amidah, which we say 3 times a day, and it's the Shema, which we say twice a day. So in the evenings, we combine these. We start with the Shema, which is this inward look at the gap between the people we have been and the people we are called to become. The Amidah, which is this outward look, a political look at the gap between the world as it is and the world as we are obliged to create. In fact, the rabbis say we should have no break between these two things, one right into the other, and yet they smash michamocha here, right into the middle of this sandwich. They do it because they're worried about us. They're worried we're going to get too comfortable. Too comfortable in our lives, too comfortable materially. So we have this reminder. Before we can do the political work, before we can look out at the world and say it needs to be different than it is, we have to remember what it was like to be an enslaved people in a foreign land. To remember what it was like to be the oppressed, so that we never, with our prayers, with our actions, with our words, with our feet, become that oppressed. successor. And so we start our Amidah with Nichamocha, this reminder of being slaves in the land of Egypt, that it may change us how we live today. Yididom yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. Yididom yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. Yididom yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. Tiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder bakodesh, ra tehilot osef elenora, tehilot osef ele, yum diddy-ay-ay-ay-yo, yum diddy-ay-ay-ay, yiddy-dum yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-dum yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, yiddy-ay-ay-ay, yom tiddy-ay-ay-ay, yum tiddy-ay-ay-ay, yiddy-dum yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-dum yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugolo meyad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai Ga'a Yisrael, Ga'a Yisrael, yay-day-day-day, yum tiddy-day-day-day, yum tiddy-day-day-day, yiddy-dum yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-day-day-do, yiddy-dum yiddy-ay-ay-yo, yiddy-ay-ay-yo. Page 20, Ashkivenu, our light in the darkness. People see the news this week about fusion, right? Merging together atoms. I think it's the most optimistic I have been in a long time. There's something about it, this possibility, once again, of creating the sort of world free from the burning of fossil fuels, a world maybe we can stabilize our climate, a world where energy is plentiful and available at a cost that means it can be spread beyond just the boundaries of the rich and the capitalists. It feels like a light in the darkness to me. A glimmer of hope, of faith in the future. So we hold on to that. As the poet Paul Hewson says, there's a light we can't always see. If there is a world we can't always be. If there is a dark, then we shouldn't doubt that there is a light. shalom, hamidenu shomreinu lechaim, ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukkot, sukkot shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, and cover over us tonight with a sukkot shalom, a shelter of peace for you, for those you love. Sukkot shalom over all creation, over all creation. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. 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 Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Rise spiritually, physically, as we call each other to prayer quietly. This reminder of Chana. Chana sitting there with her prayer, who she's accused of having been drunk, by the way, right? This is the story from the Haftorah. She is just sitting there and quietly speaking. And I love this. I mean, not the accusing her of being drunk part, but right, our model for what prayer is in Judaism is the Amidah. And who do we get it from? We get it from Chana. We get it from Chana. We get it from a woman, one of the few voices of the many, many, many Jewish women that's preserved in our sacred ancient text. And from her, we begin our Amidah. So each of us will daven like Chana, quietly in our own way. You can find the words through page 32, but don't let the words get in the way of your prayer. Begins on page 23. תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך הוויה שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך Adonai prepare me a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you, Adonai. שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך
שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם שלום רב Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom V'tov B'einecha V'yirech et Amcha Yisrael V'kol chosha b'shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Oseh HaShalom.
Amen. So a little belated, but we'll take a moment to light these Shabbos candles to bring just a little more light into our world, into our sanctuary. So, there's an old saying, there's an old tradition, actually. Speaking of these traditions like Chana, so candle lighting in the old world was one of the few ritual moments that was reserved for women. And it's been lost in many families, but there was this custom of a family's prayer that was passed from mother to daughter, and was said as these candles were lit. Zohar says that somehow the gates of the world, the gates of the heavenly realm, are just a little bit more open in that moment between the lighting of the flames and the saying of the blessing. And so as we bring in this light, as these candles are lit, I invite each of us to take a moment for a personal prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik neshel Shabbat
And so we take a moment to fill our hearts with prayers for those in need of healing, for those in need of a moment of wholeness. And that is this word shalom, shalem at its core, right? It is wholeness. It is a sense of being complete. Refuat nefesh ve'refuat haguf, a healing of the soul and a healing, please God, of the body. And so if there's someone you're thinking of, if there's someone in need of healing, you'd like to share their names, I invite you to do so. I'm certainly, Leslie, thinking of you today. That hip, may it heal soon. For Stan, yeah, may it be a quick and easy bout of COVID, please God. Yeah. And please Paxlovid and all of those other, yeah. Ugh. Ugh, for your niece. I'm so sorry. For Celeste sending so much love to her. For your granddaughter. For your Philly friends. It's so good to have you all here. For Bob Waxler, who's recovering from a hip replacement and some complications. Any other names?
My friend Marcia, who just had a hip replacement, but without complications. And also for my grand doggy, Jello, who has cancer.
Well, for your grand doggy. Didn't know that. For Essie's mom. Yeah, I grew up just up the hill from her. Yeah, sending love her way. For Autumn, who's recovering from surgery. Is that a hand up, kiddo? You thinking of someone? No, just raising your hand. You go for it. For Autumn, for Kathy Morbit, for Rudy. There he says, for all the vulnerable in this world. So, yeah. For Carol Portman. Thank you. For all these names, the names we've said, the names we hold inside, not quite ready to say. For those in need of healing that we don't know of. And for ourselves, because sometimes it is our own name that is the hardest to say. Misha Berach, prayer for healing. Page 34.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor Avrachah Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor Avrachah Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Rochat Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed is the source of goodness in this world that calls us to be agents of healing. Invite everyone to rise as we begin to conclude our service with words of Aleinu on page 38. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'tekedu la'liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככהמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחתנו. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. May be seated. I love the camp people that you hear. You can tell with the additions to Elenu. B'nai Emunah choir, okay. I love it. I love it. In honor of your uncle. What was his name? Irv. Uncle Irv. So, we take a moment, as we do at the end of every service, to acknowledge those in our community we are missing, and to acknowledge those in our community who are in mourning. Thinking of Margie Hartman and Nancy, both of whom lost a parent this week. And so if you're saying Kaddish right now, you're saying Kaddish for someone you've lost, whether it's the immediacy of Shiva and Shloshim, whether it's the year of mourning, the yearly anniversary of the yahrzeit, or if you're just missing their absence right now, missing their presence, I invite you to rise or put up a hand, or if you're on the stream, write their name. Let us know who you're thinking of. Yeah, for the whole Torah group. For Paul and Shirley and Renee. Yeah. Yeah, Michelle Shanker, of a blessed memory. Yeah, and the first one to greet you at the door, too, right? Yeah. Thank you. For your brother Michael. Wow. Wow, when is his first year outside? Wow. A blessed memory. For your dad, Henry. A blessed memory. You said 23 years? Wow. At the B'nai Emunah choir. Excuse me, yeah. Good. Good.
My friend Jane Saunders' husband, Harry, who we buried this morning.
Yeah, for Sylvia and Paul. And Shirley. for Jean Rodriguez, for Rose and Wanda, for Cheryl's dad, David, of a blessed memory, and for all those, Nikki Nymark, yeah, we've lost too many people, too many folks recently. For Herschel Ferguson. Thanks for thinking of him. Thanks for remembering him. For those we've lost this year. For Ann Wooten, Terrell's mom. For Susan Carlson and Arthur Lash. For Richard Bushman and Aubrey Yowitz. Phyllis Leventhal. Faye Zimmerman. For Hermine Mimi Davidson, Karen's grandma. For George Newman, Nina Balsam. For Betty Marver, William Levinson. For David Kaskowitz, Larry Mange. For Bear, of blessed memory. And Daniel Williams, whose daughter is going to become a bat mitzvah just next month. For Bruce Schneider, Lois Chait, for Bert Newman, for Nancy's mom, Gloria Sirkin, and for Margie's dad, Maurice. For all these folks we miss, for all these folks we mourn. We invite everyone to rise as we stand shoulder to shoulder with our mourners for these ancient words. As Rabbi Susan reminds us, don't mention death, but affirm life. Page 41. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyumechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shemei, Dekudasha, Barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata, Vashirata, Tushbechata, Venechamata, Dami ran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama, Rabba min Shamaya, V'chayim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom b'mromav, Huya say Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, El kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen.
Ose shalom b'mromav, Uyase shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael,
May the memories of all of those that we miss, all of those that we mourn, be a blessing in our lives and in our world. And we say, Amen. You can be seated as we take just a moment for announcements. So while I'm pulling up announcements, for those who missed it, we had an amazing Nigun jam session last Saturday night. I feel like I have been on a high ever since then. So the next one is January 14th, I believe. So mark it down in your calendar. You don't need to play an instrument. You don't need to even sing particularly well. The whole point of it is just to make joyful noise together, and it's what it was. It was just amazing, wonderful, joyful noise. All of us in a circle, everyone a part of it, not a performance, just noise. Though, if you listen to the recording, I promise it sounded better than noise. First Light, First Night is coming up. It's this says tomorrow night, but I don't believe it's tomorrow night. It's Sunday night. This is for tomorrow. So Sunday night will be 4 to 6 o'clock here at CRC. Come join us for latkes and songs and adding some light to the world together. The first meeting of the Tipul group, and I don't know what this is, will be happening December 24th. It's Shabbat at 12:30. It's hybrid, so you can be in person at the CRC library or on Zoom. Oh, it's CRC member Sylvia Nissenboim, Rudy's mom. Rudy's on the stream. Shabbat Shalom, Rudy. Is going to lead this monthly group for those caring for an aging parent, a spouse, or other family member. If you're interested in learning more about participating, contact Becky at centralreform.org. Sounds amazing. Thank you, Sylvia. Everything else you can find on the calendar, on the website. Any crowdsourced announcements? What is that noise? Yeah. Is it the wind, maybe? Yeah, it does sound like drumming, exactly. What'd you say? I don't think so. It doesn't sound like it's coming through the speakers. They're drumming on the roof here at CRC. It's so let's give each other a blessing, shall we? Put our arms around each other. Should have got Marty up here to say.
Nice. Hold on, Dad.
Oh, yeah. Did you ask?
Marty, next time we're getting you up here. Yivrechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May we be blessed. May we be kept safe. Yer Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May light shine upon us all and give us love.
Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And may we be the peace we want to see in the world.
Amen. And the drumming stopped right when you said that, too. It was Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.